Hi guys, and thanks for jumping on midday. Some of you will be in your lunch break, but really appreciate it. And I guess, I pulled these amazing superstars together to do this for us because I really feel like there's a misconception with Isagenix. A misconception that Isagenix is just associated for people that are overweight or not living a healthy lifestyle, using it only purely as a quick fix or a fad. And as people know, for myself, I've been using Isagenix for over 3.5 years. I did initially do it for weight loss. I lost 27 kilos, but for the last 3.5 years, I've been able to maintain that, build some muscle mass. I'm actually just having my third baby, well into my 30s, and I've never had a better pregnancy. I'm still training. So it's really, I don't believe Isagenix is about weight loss. What Isagenix is about is a healthy lifestyle. It may or may not be for you, but it's definitely got its advantages. We've maxed out this meeting at 50 participants today, but we are recording it so that you can share this with your friends and family or other like-minded people that perhaps are not necessarily looking for weight loss, but they're looking for something to enhance their performance. So we've got some amazing speakers on, and we're going to start with Danny Catania, who is also cooking a baby. Welcome, Danny. Thanks so much for joining us. So, Danny.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Danny, look, you've been an elite sports dietitian for over 10 years. You run your own online coaching business. You've worked with some of the top clubs and associations within Victoria. And I know that you also were a big part in Jana Pittman's sort of nutrition while she was in her elite, phase in her career. So, you've been involved in consulting with very elite sportsmen, such as Jana Pittman. And so I'm sure you've come across millions, thousands of supplementations, protein powders, hocus pocus, great formulas. But why did you choose to partner with Isagenix?
Good question, Heidi. And I'm going to try and keep this really brief because I can talk a lot. But I think you're right. In my years, especially at the peak of my sports nutrition career, I did come across a lot of different supplements and protein powders and miracle kind of supplements. And it is hard because I see this happening with a lot of dietitians who come across Isagenix, and sometimes it's really easy to go, it's another one of those things, and just kind of, put it on the back burner. But the truth is, I was working with Jana, as you said, and she doesn't take no for an answer. And I had to make sure that if I was going to tell her, no, I don't want you taking this stuff, I had to have a pretty good reason why. So I jumped on. I really did my due diligence. And basically, for me, Isagenix, so I was really, number one, I was really impressed with what I saw. So I saw all natural ingredients. I saw really great, especially the first product I saw was the Isoline shake. And again, it was kind of like, oh, it's another shake thing. Okay, sure, it's a great protein recovery supplement. But then when I looked further into it, I was like, actually, this gives you more than just protein. This gives you low GI carbohydrate. It gives you fiber. It gives you digestive enzymes. There's even lactase, which is a milk digestive enzyme. So it can really help with people who have challenges with digesting, large amounts of lactose. There was a probiotic. There was a prebiotic. So there's just so many things in the shake. I saw lots of really complete micronutrient profile. So I was really impressed. And so I went back to Jana and said, thumbs up, looks really good. Happy for you to keep using it. But it wasn't until a couple of months later that my own health started to take a bit of a turn. I was feeling heavy. I was carrying about between sort of 5 to 8 kilos that really I could have not, dealt with or didn't need. I was feeling like I was just really sluggish all the time. And then I saw a couple of hundred people, having incredible results, athletes and non-athletes, just active people who just wanted to feel their best. And I just thought, well, I'll give this a crack. What have I got to lose? And so it wasn't until I really tried them for myself. I put the nutrition to the test. I put it in my body. I was a closet user for the first month, but then I got forced into sharing my secret because I got all these compliments about, have I done something new with my hair or skin or makeup, and I was like, no, I've just been doing this cleanse. And so to summarize, I guess, to answer the question in a nutshell, for me, it's combined the nutrition worlds. So that's what and it took a little while. If you're a dietitian and you're watching this, it took me a little while to do my homework, do my due diligence, and really understand what Isagenix is. It can be easy to go, oh, there's lots of herbs and things I don't understand, because as dietitians, we don't practice in that realm. But here's what I've come to understand. So Isagenix is like having a dietitian, a naturopath, and a Chinese herbalist all in the same box. So really, it brings in the best of, like, you've got these convenient foods that are just super nourishing, and it's not about depriving you. It's about really nourishing every cell in your body and really allowing you to eat that food in a really convenient way and enjoy it. 3.5 years on, I still lick my lips whenever I make myself an isolane shake, and even during pregnancy it's been a lifesaver. Number 2 is that it's no compromise. So I really did my due diligence behind the ethics and the leadership behind the company. And what I saw was that these guys weren't cutting corners, and that if it was a little extra, if it was an expense to do something, they would do it because it was important for overall health. And it's also cost effective. So I looked at those kind of 3 things, and and I haven't seen, in my 10 years of practice over the last 3 years, definitely I've seen the best results with Isagenix than I had in the 7 years without.
Awesome. Yeah, great. And so you've said a lot about doing your due diligence, and for the people that are watching here today, give us your quick rundown on the formulator and the science behind Isagenix.
Mm-hmm. And again, I'm going to keep this really brief in the interest of time, because I know we have some incredible speakers lined up. So for me, okay, let's look at the formulator. So John Anderson has had, a 40-year career in the supplement formulation industry. And basically, he's got this eclectic world knowledge. He's been to some incredible parts of this globe, and I really feel like for him. So if you look at his history, he'd formulated, over, I think it was 2,500 different products for over 600 different companies. But he was always, and it made him a very wealthy, comfortable man. But deep down, he was always so challenged by the fact that all of these recipes were always compromised. So the final end product was compromised to make an extra dollar for the shareholder's pocket, or to create basically a cheaper supplement or something that could be a better shelf price, which would sell better. But when John Anderson decided to start Isagenix, it was really about drawing a line in the sand and really having no compromise. So I really respect him, and that's the reason why it's so eclectic. So if you're a dietitian, if you're a naturopath, if you're a Chinese herbalist, if you're a nutritionist, when you take a look at the products at first, it can seem a bit overwhelming because there's so much overlap. But if you do your homework, if you do ask the right questions, and if you really kind of look through and seek to understand the program, you're going to get some incredible answers. And there's a lot of us here that will be happy to answer those questions for you. And then if you look at the science team that John and the company have put together, we have over 45 different scientists. I have a really great relationship with quite a few of them, because and I know that they're always working to make sure that the most cutting edge science is applied to our system of products. So this isn't a static, standalone system of products. It's not like it hasn't changed for 10 years. It's constantly evolving. Sometimes even I can't keep up with what they're working on next, and the latest formulation of the different supplements. So I really think that, if you're looking for something that's cutting edge, that really combines a very holistic approach to nutrition, you've really found it with Isagenix.
Awesome. Now I'm going to ask you a really hard question, because it would take me about 20 minutes to really explain this to someone. But as quickly as you can, because like you said, time is of the essence here. Can you explain the basic principles of an Isagenix President's Pack, like a system of products? Like you've already mentioned that it's a system, it's not one thing, there's no silver bullet, but why do we recommend somebody a President's Pack when they're starting off their journey? What's the basic principles behind that?
Great question. So I guess in a nutshell, I really thought about how I would answer this, and I think I have 3 words for you, Heidi, and that is nourish, cleanse, repeat. That's pretty much in a nutshell, that's what we do. And so let's dig deep into this for the next sort of 60 seconds. And basically, in your first program or first pack, you're really looking to nourish your body. So we do that through the vehicle of incredible nutrient-dense smoothies. I hate saying the word shake because it does them a disservice. They're really smoothies. They're so thick and creamy. Your body starts to, I know it sounds kind of kooky, but your body starts to crave them because you start to get used to how good you can feel. So that's kind of, so we use that. So that's kind of the part of the smoothies. Then we've got some of the supplements that really help to fill in those nutrient gaps. And if you're coming in from there'll be a lot of people who are listening into this live or on the recording where we know that bringing our body into a better pH balance or pH corridor where it can function better, it really requires a few different things. It requires us to fill in those nutrient gaps. It requires us to have better timing of nutrients, and that's really what when I say nourish, that's really what I mean. Number 2 is cleanse. So this is not some like poopy, weird hoses anywhere kind of cleanse. It's a very gentle cellular cleanse. And it is really, and this is, I think it's so important that if you're a health professional, you really understand this. This is not us saying your body doesn't clean itself up. It does, but it's overwhelmed and it is challenged by the 80,000 plus chemicals in our day-to-day environment. And if you're not sure about that, if toxin is a weird word to you, I challenge you, go and look up endocrine disruptors in PubMed, which is a peer-reviewed, obviously, literature search file. Sorry, guys, someone's just got their phone or their phone not on mute. Sounds like you're in the car. There we go. Thank you. So basically, we really need some help to be able to help our bodies, to help our own system. So our liver, our kidneys, our entire system. It just needs a little extra support in this day and age, and it needs an environment that promotes their best function. And so that is what the cleanse actually does. So it provides all of this nutrition support to allow our body to do what it does best, just in the best situation. And then again, we look at, the question that comes up for me is, well, then what next? What do we do? And so it's really about being able to find the system that's going to work for you long term. This is not just about 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. This is how you're going to incorporate this into your lifestyle so this becomes a healthy lifestyle management program. I think that's probably in a nutshell.
You did that so well. That's so well. So again, that's the principles of the program. Now in March in Australia, we launched a new product range, which is been labelled AMPed, and that is really targeted towards, sports and performance. And it's attracted a lot of new athletes. We've got the new team, Isagenix. I think that's got nearly 50 athletes now that have joined that. Can you just, again, like there's 3 products, there's power, there's NOx, there's recovery. And I know a lot of people are getting quite confused as to which one to take and where, not in great depth, but what are the differences between the 3 products?
Mm-hmm. Again, I'll try and answer this but basically amped power. So we know about the benefits of creatine. We know about the benefits of being able to, there's a lot of pre-training supplements on the market. Some of them, or most of them, are very questionable. So now we have this incredibly clean, very specific, very effective dose of creatine and a couple of other nutrients that really support our ability to recover in a high-intensity workout situation. So it applies to someone who is, if you're going for that 14th or 15th rep, and that's that second or third set, amped power is going to allow you to recover the energy quicker. I was just listening to an incredible a late female soccer player. You may know of her, Melissa Barbieri. She was saying how, she's the goalkeeper. And so, she's noticed a difference on amped power when she can consistently get those distances and keep basically the power of her kick gets the ball further and further down the end of the field. Prior to amped power, she'd noticed the distance getting shorter. So our ability to recover that high intensity energy more effectively, that's what amped power does. And we tend to see, I think it's very well recognized in the bodybuilding world, but I think the people that really, and I see that get the best effects from it are particularly female athletes, anyone who's sort of sitting in a bit of a weight loss plateau, because we know that creatine can actually help improve muscle metabolism. More muscle means obviously greater metabolism, means better weight loss. I love seeing older athletes, so anyone over the age of sort of 40 or 50 using amped power, because we just see this real rise in their ability to train harder and for longer. And also I love seeing vegetarian athletes who don't tend to get a lot of creatine from their diet. So that's kind of in a nutshell amped power. Amped NOx really supports our body's ability to deliver more oxygen and supports better blood flow during exercise. But this is more sustained release. This is more like over 2 to 4 hours of an endurance type of a workout. So potentially leg days. Maybe it's a 15, 20K plus run. But it's those kind of a 50K bike ride. That is a time when NOx is going to be particularly useful. It is an acquired taste because it's such a condensed supplement full of basically nitrates from very powerful vegetable sources that it is an acquired taste, so best taken in the fridge. And we're so lucky to have Amped Recover, which for those of you in the sports nutrition world will recognize these as the branched chain amino acids. So that's isoleucine, leucine, and valine. And those 3 amino acids are known to trigger what we would call muscle protein synthesis. So be able to help our body to build new muscle tissue. That in a nutshell is what that does. And you can choose to sip on that during the workout. So you've got those branched chain amino acids coming in during the workout. So they're nice and ready in your body as soon as you're finished, or you can sip on it throughout the day, especially if you've had a massive workout, or of course you can use it straight after your session. So that in a nutshell is those 3 Amped products, and we're super lucky to have them.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I got pregnant, loved the recovery, found my recovery to be just amazing, and I'm missing that product desperately, but anyway, 4 more months. So my last question for you, and I know you've probably got a dry mouth, I've really drilled you here, but Danny, there are some athletes that are affiliated with institutes or clubs that have some preconceptions or, let's say, limitations about network marketed products. So can you talk about this? Why is it happening? Why is it the case?
Yeah, okay. So great question. And so number one is that there has been a history of prior network marketing companies that have done the wrong thing ethically, morally, financially. So products haven't been up to standard. People have been out to make a quick buck, and really there's been no basis behind really effective nutrition that really supports athletes in their athletic endeavors, basically. Number 2 is that often a lot of clubs will have their own private sponsorship arrangements where the athletes are paid or given products to take in exchange for endorsement. That does not happen with Isagenix. Athletes do not receive endorsements. They actually have to, they make a decision to use the products and they continue on them because they notice the differences. So but what I can say to that is that number 1, if you are an elite athlete watching this, considering Isagenix, know that there are Olympic athletes that are currently about to, in the next couple of days, will be competing in Rio that swear by Isagenix, and if it wasn't for Isagenix, wouldn't be at Rio. And I know that for a fact because I've worked with quite a few of them. Number 2 is that it is your body and it is your future, it's your career. At the end of the day, it is your choice to what you put inside your body and what you choose not to. And number three, the other challenge that we tend to come up against, especially in Australia from a nutrition supplement point of view, is that Australia, New Zealand, and Canada are three of the countries that have the highest standards when it comes to supplement formulation, from contamination, and from mandatory or compulsory manufacturing standards. Other countries like the US and other countries like, say, Russia, China, for products that are manufactured in those countries, they have optional manufacturing laws and procedures. So things like the testing of products of the raw ingredients prior to formulation, the testing of products after, to make sure that what's on the label is in the product and what's in the product is on the label. Those are optional, and so there are some red flags raised if processing happens offshore, so outside of Australia and New Zealand. What I want to say to that, and this is the last thing that I'll say, is that you can rest assured that Isagenix takes every single precaution, and even though some of their mandatory manufacturing laws are optional, they make them compulsory. So there's some really great resources if you want to check the quality and the assurance practices of Isagenix. You can go to isagenixhealth.net, go to New Start Here, and there's a video that says the 8 steps to ensuring quality assurance in our products. So you've really got nothing to worry about. And if you are an elite athlete watching this and you're making the decision to start Isagenix, then I applaud you for it, because it is the best thing you could possibly do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danny, for your time, and you just spat out so much information for everyone to digest. You did such a great job. Thank you. So we're going to move over to someone a little bit different now. This guy here has had 17 years experience as a PT, a fitness lecturer and sports nutritionist. He's trained elite athletes, owning the busiest PT business in Queensland. And he's also worked with The Biggest Loser, the TV show The Biggest Loser, and that is Lockie Horner. Welcome, Lockie. Is he there? Oh, you're on mute, but hang on, unmute.
There you go.
See. You do it. Okay, got it. I think
guys.
we can do it, yeah. Okay, Lockstar, you've had over 17 years experience and trying to obviously get your clients and yourself the best possible results. What's changed since integrating Isagenix, not only into your health, but the health of your clients in terms of their results and yours?
Good question. I think the big one for me is always compliance. So the best program in the world or the best nutrition plan in the world is the one that someone actually does. So we can set a wonderful balance of good food and be it supplements or whatever it might be. But the reality is, if the client doesn't do it, it's going to be a waste of time. A lot of people think that they want nutritionists, dietitians to write them exactly what they should eat. It's often a common thread that people say, just tell me what to eat and I'll eat it. People think that that's what they want, but when they actually find out what's required, that usually doesn't last very long. So we have the best of intentions, but it falls short quite often. So with Isagenix, I can confidently pass it to someone, know that the big thing is that they're going to actually do it. It tastes good, it's easy, simple to follow. We've got some really great defaults that we have in the program. For instance, if you get stuck, have a shake. I think it's very empowering as well too for clients that find themselves in a situation where they've fallen off track. They can feel a little bit comfortable knowing that maybe they have a couple of good days of eating, and then they can cleanse their sins of their experience, be it on the weekend or whatever it might be. So there's quite a lot of aspects to it that I think that really empower the client to make sure that they stay on track and stick to their programs.
And I guess, I've been to your website and you had a good body before Isagenix. You've got a great body now on Isagenix. What's changed for you in terms of why do you choose to put Isagenix in your mouth?
For me, it's the big one is always convenience first and foremost. I mean, we know how good real food is, and that's often comes up a fair bit in the comparison between real food and supplements. But look, I mean, in the best case scenario, if we were able to create this wonderful checkpoint, as I call it, in your day where you can rely on fantastic nutrition that is going to be readily absorbed by your body without necessarily having to go to all of the lengths to prepare the food and whatnot. If you've got this in your day to something you can rely on regularly, it's something else. It means you free your day for the ability to train more, to train harder. You allow yourself sorry, can everyone hear me still, Heidi? Sorry, you're just on mute there. Yeah, can you?
Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm viewing Matthew's screen.
So, Matty Ferg, we're seeing your screen now, mate.
I don't know why, but anyway, let's just keep going. I can still see you.
Yeah, no worries. So basically through the where was I? I lost my train of thought. Oh, we're up on your screen again, Maddie.
Why do you put Isagenix in your mouth?
Oh, my mouth personally, that's right. So, so for me, the first and foremost is convenience. Second is confidence in the products as well too. And I've said this in a chat that we did the other night. People are always saying, but I really enjoy cooking and different things like this. When you train more, you have to eat more. And if you have to eat more, for instance, 6 to 8 meals a day, in some cases, it doesn't matter who you are. If there's an option that you can rely on and ensure that you're going to get some fantastic results without having to prepare as much food, I feel that most people are going to put their hand up and say, yes, that's me. And not only that, then the added performance with the cleansing for me was such a big eye-opener. Similar to Danny, I had to take on board a whole new level of understanding for things that I literally didn't know anything about. So I had to really put myself in a position as a beginner and sort of start from scratch and say, well, look, I'm open-minded. Let's try this out. And for me, it was really exciting. It was scary also at the start, the thought of not being able to eat and going through that, pretty much most of my day is sort of revolved around eating and catching up with people and having some more food and doing all those sorts of things. And then thinking about taking it away, it was like, wow. But it's not until I did it and I thought, for me, it was wonderful because I got this wonderful, I suppose, realization that I didn't need food, that I wanted food, that I didn't actually need it as much. And for me, particularly when going into periods where you're having to pull back calories and doing different things like this, for me, that's so much easier to do now because I understand my body a lot more with the process of cleansing. So for me, it's been a really big eye-opener from that perspective as well too, which I'm really grateful for.
Yeah, and you kind of just touched on my next question where, we get some athletes or people that are training, 6 times a week, and they really fail to understand how important cleansing is. And I guess the cleansing aspect is really a great point of difference to Isagenix than in a lot of other protein powders or protein programs that are out there. So can you just quickly explain what would be the benefits to somebody who is cleansing whilst training? I know, the growth hormone and things like that, just to explain, why it's really important for even athletes or people that are fit to actually cleanse in terms of their performance.
Sure. Well, we know that athletes obviously they breathe a lot more because they're obviously involved with a lot more activity, so they're potentially going to be breathing in a lot more impurities. With that too, they eat a lot more, so things like meats and different foods obviously that might possess a lot more impurities also as well. I think the big challenge with a lot of athletes or people that are very active is that the cleanse days now means that it eats into their training time, and they're worried that then they're going to sacrifice their training time to be able to incorporate the cleanse. And what I like to say instead is imagine that the cleanse is part of your training. So it is like your training day. So you're not missing out on training. So it's like if you go on a day cleanse, you've just decided to get up in the morning and go for a run all day. Okay. Just try and imagine that, because in the same way, you're burning off all your energy stores, you're deeply affecting your hormonal environment in your body to make some serious changes, similar to what you would do if you went for what we call a long, slow distance run. So you've decided that day that you're going to be exercising all day by being able to do a cleanse. If I believe for athletes, they're usually a lot more detailed with their performance too. So they're the ones who are probably going to get most excited when they start incorporating a cleanse, because they're going to be able to compare that with weights that they were lifting before, with performance that they were producing before. And with that, you know, if they can see a difference, then they're going to be on board. But they need to be able to have that experience first before they can, you know, because a lot of the time we're very passionate, aren't we, as Isagenix people? We generally tend to be jumping out of our skin and sort of say, but you've got to try this, you know, there's other athletes involved, et cetera, et cetera. I understand it's not until they have that experience, literally put themselves in that moment, that they're probably going to have an opinion that's similar to, you know, the opinion that they have, you know, most of the different products and whatnot that are out there. So yeah, if they can make that first step, yeah, most of them are going to be very happy. And this is something I said the other night, just to be aware of as well too, team. If you're going to get an athlete doing, say, for instance, a double cleanse, don't get them to train first thing the next morning after they've finished up the evening. Quite a few people have done that. And, you know, if you've got no energy in your body, they're going to crash and burn. And their opinion of the cleanse is that the cleanse actually puts their performance backwards. So give them at least a full day of eating before you're going to get them in to try and to rate their performance based on post-cleanse performance. Okay, so that's probably one thing that I think is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love there's a statistic about the growth hormone when you do a 2-day cleanse, that a male, it's proven that, you know, that increase their growth hormone by up to 2,000% and a woman by about 1,300%. So the ability to then go, you know, smash the protein and smash the gym and make some more lean muscle is a lot higher. So
yeah.
You touched on this, Lucky, about, you know, restricting an athlete's calories, and you know, I've had a couple of people come to me and say, "Oh, I've tried Isagenix. I was just friggin' starving," you know, and you realise when you're talking to them, they're training 6 days a week and eating about 1,200 calories, you know, replacing 2 of their meals with the isoline shake. So for someone, and I love real examples, and someone like you that trains a lot, lifts heavy weights, has a lot of lean muscle on board, what does your sort of average day look like in terms of your nutrition days? How many shakes are you having? How many meals are you having?
Yeah, sure. Look, I definitely have a couple of the Isoline Pros throughout the course of the day, rather than, I suppose, if we look at the main meals, so your breakfast, lunch and your dinner, I keep all of those solid meals, and I keep the meals in and around those as supplement meals. And that's generally one of the things that we do with a lot of athletes, is you still keep a great combination of solid and supplemented food. So say, for instance, morning tea might be more looking like a shake, and afternoon tea looking like a shake. If I train in the afternoon, I'll have a shake post-workout, like an Isopro, not an Isoline Pro, because soon after I'm going to be eating within that hour. And so I said the other night, that doesn't mean that's for everybody, but a lot of the time when people are having Isopro post-workout just on its own without carbs or anything like that, they're looking at just replenishing their protein, protecting their muscle, and they're searching around for food within that next 20-30 minutes anyway, compared to a person that has an Isoline Pro post-workout. That's their meal, that's their protein, that's everything there included. Is that making sense, guys? Yeah. And then at night time, I'll have an Isopro before bed, and usually combine that with be it some cottage cheese or some yogurt to slow the release in the evening as well too. Obviously, all the other subs as well too, be it Isagenesis and, you know, all the Isomega I'm big on. I usually take Isomega 3 times a day as well too, breakfast, lunch and dinner. That is not what's recommended, but that's what I do because, yeah, I like it.
I like
it. Helps me. And Ionics as well, of course. But
yeah, so I guess people are really confusing. You know, they ask me all the time, Heidi, what should I take? Should I take Amped Nox or should I take eShot? And I said the only similarities between those two products is the bottle that they're in. So
yeah, exactly.
Explain sort of to me and to the people on the webinar here, what's the difference between those two products and when would you use them in terms of enhancing your performance in the gym?
Yeah, great question. So I think when you think of eShot, think of stimulant, right? So its aim is to be able to stimulate the body through natural caffeine and natural herbs or whatnot to keep you more alert, keep you aware and focused. So that's going to work great in a workout, of course, because, you know, you're going to be able to have a lot better concentration, particularly when things are getting a little bit tough. So think in terms of stimulant enhancement from that perspective there, and think of with the Nox, it's more performance-based. So it's what we call a vasodilator. Basically, it helps to increase the size of your vessels, punching more blood through your body and delivering oxygen. So it's going to be directly related to increase in performance because you're able to transport your blood through and nutrients through your body a lot better, which is part why I always say if someone's quite vascular, you get them to take that NOx and you watch as their veins sort of start to pop up on end. It's quite incredible. So I always recommend the NOx for those really big workouts, because we can get a little bit confused with, when to take what all the time. At the end of the day, it does come down to your performance, guys. We've got to put in a solid effort. If you pick up a bottle of NOx and you're about to gulp that down, just remember in the back of your head, almost like a resonating voice saying, this is game on. All right, so you want to bring to life the effort that you're going to be putting in after you take something like NOx, because how it does come to life and how the best of what that product has to offer will really be seen is when you really put in a real great effort behind it. All right. Whereas an E-shot's going to get you up and pumping no matter what you're doing. All right. You're going to feel the stimulating effect of that and whatnot. So when people say, I had the NOx, I didn't feel it, quite often in the back of my head, without being nasty, because obviously we can do that in this forum, I'm thinking to myself, you're just not working hard enough. Really, because at the end of the day, if people are trying to take NOx and think that that's going to change their life, and they never leg pressed before, and then they're going in there and lift 500 kilos on their first effort, that's not going to happen. But you know what? If you're used to lifting 500 kilos and you get yourself all pumped up and have a NOx, and you jump in there and you lift 550, there's probably a fair good reason why. And that part there is because your performance is improved by the supplements and the combination of things that you're doing at that given time. So that's a tick. So one's geared towards stimulant. They're both really performance-based, but one's absolutely performance-based, which is that NOx.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think people are really confusing the two products, I think, because they're just in a little black bottle. They taste very different too, right?
They do.
So our next guest, and thanks, Locke, you really answered some great questions there, is a St Kilda AFL star. He was a premiership coach in Victoria Country Football League. He's now a PT and a business owner, and that is Matthew Ferguson. Welcome, Matt.
Thanks, Hyde. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so how did you find Isagenix?
Well, I was playing football at the time. I was coaching down in the Sale Football Club in the Country Football League, and I just turned 30 years of age, and I guess I felt like my best football was maybe behind me. I just felt like my body was just slowing down a little bit, and I told a friend that I would, I guess, try Isagenix after the football season, because one of the problems that you'll have with enrolling a country footballer or anyone in suburban footy is, I guess, the lifestyle that they live throughout a season is enjoying having a fair few beers on the weekend and stuff like that. And that's just the reality of it. So I said to a friend that I would try it after the season. And, a cleanse and football player doesn't necessarily, it's new. It's new. So, and when I first tried it, AFL football players, once they get to the end of the season, they've got about 3 months, to really take their game to a new level, so they can, try and have a breakout season the next year. And they're fit. Like you'll see, AFL footballers these days, they're getting lighter, they're getting stronger, and they want super endurance and recovery. Everything is revolved around recovery now. They'll have massive pre-seasons, and then they'll play football, and then everything is recovery. They come off the field, they get their muscles flushed. They're in and out of ice baths. We don't even know if ice baths even do anything, but they're in and out of them. And it's just all based around recovery. And I just noticed straight away that, I'd never had such accelerated fitness gains before in my entire life, and that was very obvious to me because I've done so many 3-kilometer time trials, beep tests, exactly where you're at. And this excited me straight away. I got in my car and I drove to an event, and when I walked in, I saw Dani Catania, and she didn't enroll me, but I saw her, and she was my sports dietitian when I was at the St Kilda Football Club. And I walked straight up to her and I said, Dani, we have to take this to the AFL. This is the perfect supplement. And I was really excited about it. And, you know, she sort of said, we're not too sure if AFL players can be involved in network marketing companies. And I was like, yeah, right. Well, anyway, so once again, when I was coaching footy, I just saw how much that people's or players' performance or their game or their place in the team was being compromised by their body composition. And I just knew straight away that this was something that I could be easily passionate about. You know, to be able to help footballers, you know, get to lose dead weight, because any weight that a footballer carries around is dead weight. It's going to slow you down. It's going to give you less endurance, and it's going to give you less recovery. So if you can get a footballer to get you know, really low skin folds, build lean muscle, have improved recovery, and you know, have greater endurance, they're going to be better players. They're going to be better footballers. So I don't know of anything on the market or any kind of system. And once again, like Lockie says, this is simple. This is easy to follow. You can get any guy, no matter what job he does, as long as he just doesn't go on benders every weekend, you know, to take this nutrition, and it's going to improve, you know, their performance greatly. And if you can, I mean, I've straight away, when I first started Isagenix, I started enrolling my friends that played football, and I, with my own eyes, just saw their performance go through the roof. You know, guys that weren't even anywhere near winning, you know, say a club best and fairest, and they were going on and doing that. And I've had a massive impact on a lot of my friends' careers. And, you know, I love that so much that I even, you know, I built my business, my Isagenix business, just as a tradesman. And then I wanted to step out of that role and become a personal trainer. And now I can, you know, impact more and more people's lives. And we train, the people that train at our gym are mostly people on Isagenix products. And they are the best clients because they've got big goals. They're always healthy, and they get great gains, and they get great results. So, you know, once we just had, I think, like when I first stepped into Isagenix, I just thought, where are all the Aussie rules players? Where are they all? And then when I worked out that there wasn't any, I mean, I haven't had I mean, I'm no superstar. I haven't had a massive career, but I thought, you know, I'll go first here because I'm really passionate about, you know, impacting footballers' lives. And then we had Steve Phoebe that just got involved in Isagenix. He's played 258 games for the Melbourne Football Club. And the first thing he just said, mate, I would have loved to have had this while I was playing football. You know, to a system you can follow to get your skin folds if you're on skin folds, so that's when you get the calipers and you test the fat between the muscle and the skin that have to be at a certain level for Aussie rules footballers. It's just so important, and it's very stressful if you're not around that area. And yeah, so we've got a system here that can help you get exactly where you want to be, but not doing it by cutting out an already nutrient deficient diet. You know, you're actually loading your body with nutrition at the same time as burning body fat. So that's why I think it's definitely a game changer. And then even for my footy, like I thought I was really washed up, and now I'm running out games. You know, I'm 32 this year and feeling as fit as I've ever been. So yeah, really enjoying it so far, Hides.
Yeah, I bet you wish you had this back playing professionally. So the new AMP range, I'm sure you're consuming that one. Can you explain how the AMP range has helped you and your clients?
Yeah, so I was really excited when this came out. I mean, last year throughout the football season, I would take a couple of e-shots and before the game. I'd take another one at half time, and I would just burn through the game. But now, yeah, so there was a little bit of a gap there for some energy and performance products for gym goers, and I was really excited when that came out. And the really cool thing about Isagenix is, and even for any type of athlete, is that they can do everything right. They can prepare, because, you know, athletic performance is all about preparation. I mean, athletes can do everything right, and then they can rock up on game day and just not feel it, just not be there, and they just think, you know, what's going on here? I've done everything right. With Isagenix, we don't have that problem. Okay, we always feel up and about. for every session and recover well. But I guess the amped power, I like to call this, not everyone has the luxury of being able to train in a gym with a personal trainer. But I like to say that, your amped power is like having a spotter with you, but without having a spotter, because you can always just go those 1 or 2 extra reps than when you would previously burn out. So, if you don't have a spotter, take your amped power into the gym with you, and it's going to just, allow you to go that little bit harder. Now, I don't, before Isagenix, I would leave the gym because I was knackered and I just wanted to, curl up in a ball, and so I'd work hard and I just wanted to, die after a session. Now I leave the gym because the clock has just got away from me, and, I've just got energy to burn. And I guess to have the recovery as well, that just allows you to, so this system allows us to get more out of our sessions, but then allows us to recover quicker so we can do more sessions. So putting these products in your body is not going to get you, ripped and build you lean muscle. But if you do what Lockie said, combine that with a little bit of determination and a bit of grit, you're going to be able to have more sessions, better sessions, and more of them. And that's what I really love about it. So, to have the, especially for a football player too, if there's any Aussie rules footy players out there, the Nox product, I think is sort of more for players or athletes like your say your triathletes or runners or even footballers, to be able to pump more blood, around to your muscles when they're in need of it most is a pretty cool concept. So, I'm really excited about that product too. And I find that I'm definitely running out games a lot better and just not getting as sore. I feel like my limbs and my body is just better lubricated. I'm able to go into the gym on a Sunday and do a good recovery session and a light weight session when previously I couldn't even walk. I'd struggle, to even move after a football game. And I think a lot of people, you'll find they do give that feedback that they have better flexibility and mobility when they're using the products. And I just hope that, that if you're a footy player out there or an athlete, don't try the system half-assed. Put all the products into your body and follow the system that is prescribed, and do it really properly, and it will be a game changer, and you'll get super results. So yeah, thanks very much, Hides.
No, thanks, Matt. You're just like a little ball of energy. It's like you've taken your Nox and your ant and you're popped. That's good. So our next guy, we've gone from country Victoria down to our Kiwi friends. He's had 17 years playing pro rugby in New Zealand, UK and Japan. Most of us will know him as a star All Blacks player, where he played from 2004 to 2007, and a Commonwealth Games gold medalist with Sevens rugby, and that is Rico Gear. How are you, Rico?
Heidi, good, thank you.
He's a man of few words. So, Rico, tell us, quickly, how did you find Isagenix?
At the time, I was playing professionally in Japan. So basically said no for 12 months. Life was good up there, and we had free protein with our Japanese rugby club. So I thought, their protein must be pretty good. So stuck with that. Came back to New Zealand, and I was still playing a bit of footy, and I was still training to keep active, which meant, I was still using the likes of protein and vitamins and stuff. And I was buying that locally anyway. So I thought, okay, let's have a closer look at Isagenix. Did a little bit more research, of course, 30-day money-back guarantee. So took the risk out of it. Gave it a try, and I was actually quite shocked with the results that I achieved. And I guess we talk about, it's not a quick fix, but things actually happened very quickly for me, which I was surprised with. And so after 11 days, I found that I was always self-conscious about stomach fat. So that's the only place I get fat. and day 11 did my sort of after photo, and I was actually really, really surprised at, you know, what I achieved, and how easy it actually was. So I guess that's basically how I sort of got started.
Awesome. And you obviously have chosen to use the products ever since. And with the introduction of AMPed, how has that impacted your training and your life now?
Yeah, no, awesome. So just over 20 months now on the products, and with the AMPed range, you know, pretty much having, you know, 1 or 2 Isagenix Pros, you know, per day. I'll have IsoPro, you know, post-workout as well. And when I look at the AMPed range, I actually felt that Isagenix was missing the AMPed range when I first started, because we've only just, got it this year in March. Because as a professional athlete, we'd always had the likes of, you know, your creatine and your BCAAs for recovery and all the amino acids. So once that became available, I knew that this was certainly going to be, it was going to complement the rest of the system. So yeah, for me, you know, AMP Power, 30 to 45 minutes before a workout, and have the knock shot at the same time, and using Replenish, you know, during my session, and of course immediately after, I combine the AMP recovery with the IsoPro as soon as possible post workout. And then, like you mentioned, is trying to get, you know, some sort of food in, you know, within the hour, ideally around that 30-minute mark. I find that works really well for me. So certainly noticeable in terms of the difference it's made to my performance in training when trainings are really hard. And of course the recovery, again, like Matt was saying, the ability to be able to just get up and go again later in the day or the next day, it certainly made a huge difference to performance and recovery.
So am I right in saying you wish you had it back when you're playing hardcore professional football?
Yes, absolutely. I'm even more grateful now because I'm getting older, so it sort of still gives me a bit of an edge over the competition, which might be, you know, the older boys in the gym. But, you know, and I might even play a little bit of rugby this year, of course, not professionally, but, I mean, that's really what it's done for me in terms of, you know, feeling great, being able to perform at a level that I haven't really been able to before. And really I've just found it so easy to do, and it's, you know, it's not that hard, and of course getting great results.
Awesome. So look, I've just got one last question for you, and I'll let everyone get back to their lunch break. So, you know, Rico, you've had such a successful career. You now sit in your 30s in retirement, have your 4th child on the way. Why are you choosing to build an Isagenix business? I mean, you'd have so many other avenues that you could go down, such as coaching or management of teams. I mean, I'm sure you've got offers coming left, right, and centre. Why are you choosing to build an Isagenix business?
I mean, first and foremost, I love what Isagenix actually does. And, you know, as a lot of us already know, we've seen from other people's results, you know, how good it is, and it just keeps happening. So, you know, of course, come from a place of wanting to really help people, you know, achieve their goals. Of course, the performance side is great. Obesity is another thing. You know, New Zealand, Australia, we're, you know, one of the highest in the world. So, again, this is a solution to certainly help that, you know, that area. From a business point of view, I mean, I was working full-time the last couple of years. I went to a David Wood event, and I left the event and I realised that this is a vehicle, you know, network marketing is a vehicle to create, you know, the likes of freedom of choice and, you know, time freedom and all that sort of awesome stuff, which, you know, I guess I didn't even know that was possible, because all we know is traditional 9 to 5, go to school, go to university, all that sort of stuff, which is all very good. But I think I just found that this vehicle is certainly going to create more opportunities. And for me and my family, of course, you know, you got to put the hard work in, just like anything. And then again, understanding residual income. So once I sort of understood that, it almost become, there's no comparison. So I guess that gave me the confidence to really give it a crack. And then, I mean, pretty quickly within a number of months, we started to see results for our business, which again gave us more confidence, and then realizing it just continues to grow. So, you know, from that point of view, you know, we're all in basically. I still do coach rugby. I still spend a bit of time in Japan, coaching various teams over there. But again, I get to choose to do that. I'm not forced to do that. So, I mean, that's what I love about, you know, the opportunity that Isagenix and network marketing provides.
Yeah, awesome. I think it's a great avenue for people that are, you know, retiring elite athletes, because, you know, you obviously end your career in your 30s or, you know, sometimes late 20s, because, you know, your body just wears out. So it just gives you you know, another avenue. And if you're watching this and you're not an elite athlete, someone like me, you know, it doesn't stop you from building a business either. So, look, I'm going to leave it there. We've just ticked over an hour. I would just want to thank all our 4 amazing speakers for coming on and giving their time to us. To have a resource to send on to other people that may also have those misconceptions about Isagenix and what it's all about. And hopefully it sort of squashed some myths that Isagenix is just for the overweight or just for the people that are looking for a healthy lifestyle, when you can actually enhance your performance, enhance your healthy lifestyle, enhance your life by just ordering that little brown box. So whoever sent you this webinar, please get back to them if you're interested in knowing any more information or getting started. And again, thank you everyone for joining us on this Maxed Out webinar, and I will be putting up the link so that you can share it with all your friends and family and people that you really care about. Thanks so much, guys. See ya.